Yo, what's poppin'? Welcome to Bhroman Braapsody. This is where we review cars, motorcycles, do a lot of fun stuff, road trips, coast-to-coast trips. And today I'm here where it all began. This is Indian Motorcycles Greensboro Triad with the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only, it's Sensei! Here we are! And we have a gorgeous looking motorcycle here today. So what is this bike?
Well, this is the Indian FTR 1200 Sport.
Okay.
It is a fun bike, 120 horsepower, ride command touchscreen, adjustable rear suspension, and very smooth, a lot of power, lightweight package, but it comes on very smooth.
Oh.
People love the ride on this.
Oh, I'm sure. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the 2023 Indian FTR 1200 Sport. And in today's episode, we're gonna talk about the bike. I'm gonna walk around, show all the features. I'll take it out on the road, share my thoughts with you guys, talk about the cost of ownership, and assign it a Bhroman score. So but before we do any of that, Sensei,
right?
If you're new to Bhroman, you gotta hit that like and click that subscribe button. We put out content every week, and your support would mean a lot. It's me, it's your boy Bro, and I am your Bhroman.
Anybody rode an FTR a few years ago when they first came out, I definitely encourage you to come back and take a second ride. The initial iteration of the bikes were amazing, same engine and so forth, but they all had a little bit different geometry because they were run a little bit higher, taller wheel and tire package. The suspension was a little different. And really what the company figured out is that folks that are used to playing in cruisers that wanted to maybe switch over to a standard, they didn't necessarily want something that was quite so high in the saddle.
Gotcha.
So you can still get a bike like that. You know, for example, the Carbon has a little taller stance, a little bit more lean angle, but most people find this bike is more than aggressive for a lot of on-the-street sport riding.
It's got a reduced seat height now of 30.7 inches. Same wheelbase, about 60 inches, right? 60 inch, 57, 60 inch wheelbase. Same motors, the liquid-cooled V-twin, putting out 120 horses, 87 foot-pound of torque. That's going to be so much fun to ride.
Absolutely. What we need to keep in mind is that this is a standard bike. This bike is still designed to be comfortable. So this is a bike that if you live here in the middle of North Carolina and you wanted to take off to Myrtle Beach, you're not going to get there and be completely exhausted. It's also a reasonable ride two up. On the Sport, it has a removable rear cowl, already comes with the passenger pegs, and so that's something to really keep in mind. It is such a versatile platform, and it is still so invigorating. At 500 pounds and 120 horsepower, that's a rocket ship, dude.
And new for 2023, at least for the Sport model, I think, is this paint schemes.
Oh, absolutely. So early on, that was another thing you may notice if you tracked and followed the FTR line for a while. Initially, there was so much energy to relate it to our flat track bikes that were on the track, the flat track 750, which makes huge power, but of course it's not street legal. And I'm very excited to see the Indian Motorcycle Company break from that a little bit and offer different color schemes. I think that this bike looks so good in this white, red, and black trim. It's amazing.
And it also comes with the 4-inch? Yeah.
Correct.
It's the 4-inch roundy TFT display with the ride command center.
Ride command center, very touch responsive. GPS is excellent. The boot up time is quick. Now, it's like anything, even your touch screens, your GPS in your car. Obviously, if you are motoring along and you hit certain areas, yes, it can lose signal, the same as your car or any other bike. But to have all that tech in such a small package, we've had great feedback with that.
I like it. It's got a little bit of that front cowl. It's got a chin spoiler down below.
It's a great look. I mean, it's very sporty. you know, in a lot of ways to me, this is just begging for a race number here.
Race number. I was just going to say that. It looks like the race plates on like the FTR 750, right?
And I think that when you pull up on this to any riding club or meetup and people find out that this is American made, they're completely overwhelmed, because this bike certainly can measure its chops with our best of our European and Japanese friends.
Oh, most certainly. It reminds me of my other bike. White, red.
Right.
And it's just as gorgeous. It's just as sexy.
Correct.
So,
and it's okay. You can say it. You can say the other bike is a Ducati. You're not going to get hit by lightning here. We love Ducatis too, man. We love them all. BMW, Ducati, Harley, Honda, Yamasaki's. We love all we love everything, man. It's got a motor in there and you're straddling it. We're all for it.
I like this bike, man. Not gonna lie.
You got good taste.
Thank you. You mind if I do a quick walk around?
Please.
All right. Starting off from the front, you have that beautiful plate to put a number on. LED headlights, the short fender, and the black front forks by ZF Sachs. Pretty cool, and then third signals on the top. It's got the bright orange wheels, dual 320mm discs with Brembo brakes, and a 25.3 degree rake angle. What's a rake angle, you ask? So draw perpendicular from the steering mount for the fork tube. That angle is your rake angle. Shorter the rake angle, the more nimble the bike is, and larger the rake angle, the more stable it is at higher speeds, highway speeds, and such. I love this paint scheme, man. The white, black, bright orange. It's got a little chin spoiler down there, and at the heart is the 1200cc V-twin, liquid cooled, puts out 120 horses, 87 foot-pound of torque. The design of the exhaust goes up, and then you have the seats. Oh, this is just beautiful. Looking at it from the rear, man, I love that tail light, and I love that high tail design, the exhaust. You got a monoshock over there, adjustable, and then license plate holder, turn signals down there, and oof, I love that gorgeous color of the wheels. Really makes it pop. And that's the rear seat cowl. You can remove this, and it's actually a seat for the pillion down here. And the passenger seat has a nice deep cut, and it's quite wide. I like it. And then going up, look at that fuel tank, man. I love the design, I love the color, I love the contrast, all of that. And there's your fuel cap. I love the little plaque here that tells you it's an Indian FTR 1200. And then this does not have keyless ignition. This has an old school key, so that goes in there. So put it in, turn it on, and boom, the TFT screen comes to life. I love that graphic. That never gets old. Handlebar controls on the left-hand side. You have your passing lights, high beams and passing lights, cruise control settings, the joystick and the back button to go through the menu, your turn signals, hazard, and horn. Then on your right-hand side, you have a kill switch and your start button. Yeah, and you have nice roundy mirrors, guys. It looks really cool. The round mirrors with the round display just flows. I like how they've paid attention to detail. And here by the side of the right command center is your little USB outlet. The first screen, you get your tachometer, speedometer, which gear you're on, direction, compass, outside temperature, and your what riding mode you're on and time of day. You can go here and click which one you want to go into, gauges, bike. If you go into bike, you got your tire pressure, engine temperature, outside temperature, battery, fuel range, and economy. Press that, that's your current ride. Yeah, you have your navigation. Takes a minute to load up. And then if you click here, you can select what riding mode and your traction control. That is pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. You can track your rides and do a whole bunch of things. Connect your phone, connect music. You go into settings, and that's where you can go into your bike settings. Select your right command center, display, all of that, display settings, connected service, software, update maps. This last one is really cool. You can have your cylinder deactivation on or off, diagnostics, and all that cool stuff. So you can If you click that on, it's gonna deactivate the rear cylinder when it's hot and you're stuck in traffic. So Sensei, can you tell my viewers a little bit about Indian Motorcycle Greensboro Triad and this beautiful place?
Absolutely. Well, for years we were in downtown Greensboro, and then we moved just outside of Greensboro, still in Guilford County, North Carolina, but we are located in High Point at 2924 North Main Street. And we did a name adjustment that time. We'll always be Indian Motorcycle Greensboro because that's where we started, and that's the greater Greensboro area is where we serve and service. But then we branched out and added Triad because we certainly have branched out into the High Point, Winston, Burlington, and even Danville, Virginia. We have a lot of customers from that whole area that come down to see us, and we appreciate all of our customers. And this has been a great move over here to our new facility.
And guys, this is where the Bhroman journey started of sorts. First dealership to agree to collaborate with me. So day ones, man, day ones right here. Come on down, check them out. I'll put their website link in the video description below. And who should they say sent them to you?
Well, shoot, I think they just need to go ahead and tell everybody that the Bhroman sent them.
That's right. Let's go. Tell them the Bhroman sent you, and you'll be part of this dysfunctional family here.
Dysfunctional to the hill.
To the
To the hill.
All right, Sensei. We've been talking for a minute. Do you happen to know what time it is?
Well, according to this watch, when I read it, and if I'm reading it correctly, and I think I am, it says it's right o'clock.
It's right o'clock. Let's go.
All right, so if you guys are new to Bhroman, give us a like and hit that subscribe button. We put out content every week, and your support would mean a lot. Let's go. So let's start off our ride with our first test. Let's make a couple of U-turns and see how this puppy maneuvers, shall we? Short wheelbase, steep rake angle. Oh man, this turning radius is really tight. Really tight. I like it. Oh, I like it. Which means it's time to do our second test, the pull test. Apologies for the audio. I lost all of my audio during recording, or a majority of it, so this is a voiceover. Oh man, this bike is quick. It is proper quick. It's not super fast, but it is quick. It picks up speed quite rapidly, and it's very stable. It is very stable while it's doing all of this. So yeah. First impressions. What are the first impressions? Well, I am sitting up quite upright on this motorcycle. I don't have to reach out for the handlebars at all, and my legs are not bent weirdly in any way, shape or form. I am very comfortable, and this bike, man, there's one thing, it's very planted. It feels very planted. Going around this like little curve, it did not feel like it was losing its shape or anything. It's absolutely very well made and very well put together. Coming up to a stop sign, front brakes only test. Great, good front brakes. I am 5'10", 31-inch inseam, and I can flat foot this bike, no problemo. It's got a 30.7-inch seat height, so flat footing it for me was not an issue at all. Well, continuing with the seating thing, seating point, the seat is quite wide and it's quite comfy. The seating triangle, the riding triangle is very good. The arms aren't bent weirdly, your legs aren't bent weirdly, you're sitting up upright, and it's quite comfortable. And the balance on this bike, I very much like it. It's very well balanced. As for the wind protection on this motorcycle, well, it does not have a windshield. It does not have a front fairing, and so you are gonna get blasted with a lot of wind. And on days like the day I was riding it, it was a day in the 80s, temperatures in the 80s, and it felt really good, and I was really comfortable with the wind. But on colder days, it might be a bit of an issue. It might be a bit of an issue on colder days. But what's not going to be an issue is how smooth this bike rides. How smooth the engine is and how smooth it feels. It really does. I mean, it's a standard bike, but it has a lot of character and it's very smooth, and that V-twin chaka chaka chaka, high paced but really good. And then you combine that with the exhaust note on this motorcycle. Man, these are the stock exhausts, but man, oh man, they sound so good. I told you, I love that sound of the stock exhaust on this bike. That engine is amazing, as well as the power delivery. The power is available throughout the rev range. Like, you know, in sports bikes or high performance motorcycles, we often tend to see that you get a lot of power up in the upper echelons, not so much down below, but this has power throughout the rev ranges. And to help you deal with that power, it comes with 3 riding modes: standard, rain, and sport. But if you really want to have some fun, you gotta be in sport mode. Rain mode is where all the nanny systems are at its highest setting. Of all the 3 modes, I think sport mode is the most fun mode. But if you're riding around town, look at this guy. If you're just riding around town, minding your own business, standard mode. I think standard mode is the smoothest. Like in sport mode, if you ease off the throttle, it just wants to go fast. It kind of gives you that little dig 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 feel, but the throttle response is so awesome in sport mode. Is it a good bike for touring? Riding it on the highway, it feels very planted, and it's not like wobbling with wind buffeting or anything like that. But now there are a couple of things you got to keep in mind: 0 wind protection and 0 storage space. So if you put a tank bag or a tail bag, or if you get one of the saddlebags, you might have some storage space. The seat and seating position is quite comfortable, but I wouldn't do more than a couple of 100 miles on this, because after that I'm gonna get tired. How about commuting? Is it a good motorcycle for commuting? Well, I think it is, as long as you're okay with carrying your stuff in a backpack or having a tank bag or some secondary sort of storage space of some sort, I guess. You should be just fine. It's got enough power, both horsepower and torque, to get you around town, to work or whatever. But keep in mind, I would try to avoid highways as much as I could, but you'd be fine even if you took it for a little jaunt on the highways. Is it a good bike for beginners? Let's think about it. 120 horses, 87 foot-pound of torque, and yeah, it's got the raid and standard mode that really kind of put a dampener on all the power outlet. The rain mode does, at least. The standard mode really doesn't dampen it down that much, but it makes it a little smoother. But no, if you're brand new to motorcycling, I would really stay away from it, because it still has a lot of power, and it's not cheap. It's not going to be cheap. It's 16-18 grand out of the door. But what about the cost of ownership, bro, man? What about the cost of ownership? So, in conclusion, this FTR 1200 Sport, I love how awesome the bike looks. I love the paint scheme. I love the seating position. I love the power delivery. It's available throughout the rev range, not just at the high end. And yeah, it's just a very undemanding ride, very comfortable ride. And yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a great bike for commuting, for your weekend rides with the buddies, because you're not gonna tire out too quickly. It's probably not the best bike for touring, and most definitely not a bike for the beginners, because it's got a lot of power, man. It's a lot of power. So if you're brand new to motorcycling, neep, not this bike, man. Not this bike. Is the Indian FTR Sport the bike for you? Well, head on down to your closest Indian dealership. Take one out for a spin and check it out for yourself. Well, thanks for watching, you guys. Keep your knees in the breeze, and I'll see you soon. Bro out.